Does it ever feel like you're constantly correcting your child's behavior, but nothing truly changes? Here's the truth: most parenting advice misses. Your child isn't just learning skills as they're growing up. The beautiful framework of the book The Art of Elevation by Yechiel Harari will show us that our role is not just to manage our children's behavior, but to elevate them. We want to help our children see the good that already exists within them, their strengths, their potential, the version of themselves that they can grow into, and to gently weaken the traits that pull them off their course. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to step into that role with clarity, confidence, and warmth, so you're not just raising a child who behaves well, but a child who becomes well. My name is Efrat Amira. I'm a mom of 3 boys, ages 4, 7, and 11. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm passionate about helping parents who want to lead from a calm authority and timeless wisdom as they raise children with character, courage, and purpose. If you appreciate this kind of content, please leave a like below so other parents can find this content as well. Now let's dive in. Modern parents have a very hard time forming their children's character because their belief about children's nature is distorted. Our Western thought is based on a deep belief that came from the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, that taught that children are born inherently good and perfect and that society corrupts them. So basically, if we are believing in that thought, then we see our children as whole and good and perfect when they are born, and we are afraid to ruin our children's perfection with our own discipline. When we carry that type of way of looking at our children, it's going to be very hard for us to help them elevate from their own behavior and change their behavior for the good. Today, I want to present to you a very different way of looking at children's nature and at human nature in general that comes from Jewish wisdom. According to Jewish wisdom, every person is born whole. They have the godly spark within them. But that godly spark is our potential, meaning that we are born with a potential to be good or to be bad. Each person has a tendency to be good and do good, or to be bad and do bad. According to Jewish thought, every person has 2 souls within them. They have the animal soul and they have the godly soul. The animal soul is our selfish tendency, is the tendency to look after ourselves, is our tendency to be self-involved, is that tendency to not see other people and not take others into consideration. That is a natural force within us. It is not bad, but this is just our natural way of being because we are souls in a human body. Other soul that we have is our godly soul. This is the one that is that godly spark that each one of us has within us that we need to cultivate throughout our life. When children are born, they have a very strong animalistic soul. Children are very selfish. They are very self-centered, and that is for a good reason, because in order for children to survive, they need to make sure that adults are taking care of their needs because they are completely dependent on other people. As our children grow up, we need to slowly and gradually help them mature from those selfish tendencies that they have, so they can bring forth their potential and their godly soul and their wholeness into the world. Now, this conflict between our good and our bad inclination is something that every human deals with throughout their life. We deal with it as parents, as adults, and our children deal with it as well. Our job as parents is to help our children with that conflict and help them to see that they can overcome the bad inclination and expose the goodness that they have within them. Now notice that this is a very different perspective than the Western perspective based on Jean-Jacques Rousseau's belief that children are born pure and good and we are corrupting them as a society. Through this view, children are born with the potential to be good, but with a natural tendency to be selfish. This is a very different way of looking at children's nature, and it creates a different way to see our role as parents. So I want to take this now a step deeper. Each person, not only that they are born with these 2 souls, each person is born with different character traits. Some of them are stronger than others. Now, character traits in and of themselves are not good or bad. But when we have a very dominant character traits that overwrite our other character traits, then that can lead to bad and negative results. So I'm gonna give a few examples for that. If a child is born naturally bossy, that's not a bad thing in and of itself. But if the bossiness is what leads them in their life and they're not able to see other people's perspective and they're not able to be a little bit easygoing and going with the flow and considering other people in their lives, it's gonna be a very destructive character traits for them in their life. Another example is if the child is born with a natural tendency to feel confident. That can be a good thing. But if that confidence is taking over and he doesn't have a little bit of modesty and also the knowledge that he needs to improve as a person, he doesn't know everything already, right? So that confidence is gonna be something that thwarts him in his development in life, and it can become arrogance. Another example of a character trait that can be good but may have negative effects is cheerfulness. There are people who are born very cheerful in this world and they see everything through pink glasses that they wear on their eyes. And this is wonderful. These are very optimistic people and very happy people. But this can also be something that is negative because sometimes they are lacking the ability to look at things that are maybe not so great. Maybe to understand people who are having a harder time. Maybe they have a hard time to be empathetic to somebody else. So as you see, each character trait isn't good or bad in and of itself, but when it's an extreme and it takes over our life, then it has negative effects on our life. So what does it mean about parenting? Our children are born with natural tendencies. Our job as parents is to help them find perspective and put those tendencies in the right amount and in the right way. In Jewish literature, this is called avodat amidot. This is the work on our character. If I translate the word midah, it means amount, more or less. So what does it mean? It means that we need to control the amount of the character trait that we have. We don't want the amount to be too high or too low. We want to find somewhere in between. And it's not about finding a balance between two character traits. It's about holding the idea that both things can be true at the same time. I can feel very confident, but also I have some insecurity and I have some modesty within me. I can be very bossy and assertive with my boundaries, but also I can take other people under consideration. So having the ability to integrate what looks like opposing character traits is what makes us wiser people who are more connected to reality, who are more connected to ourselves, and who are more connected to others. Our job as parents then is to find those strong character traits in our children, the ones that need a little bit of refining, and helping them integrate other character traits within them that will make them be more balanced people with a more grounded way of looking at life. The way to control and to change our natural character traits is by using our intellect. We don't have as people the ability to control our emotions, our feelings. Emotions just rise up within us, but our emotions are driven from our thoughts. So what we do have control over is our thoughts, our speech, and our action. We want to teach our children that they have control over these two. So we need to teach them to have the right perspective of things. When we see that one character trait is taking over too much, it is our job as parents to show our children the other way of looking at things. We need to show them the opposite side. We need to show them that opposite things can be true at the same time. With these conversations and instilling in them a different mindset, instilling in them a different way of looking at the world will help them in time and gradually weaken those strong character traits that can have a negative impact on their life for the long run. It is very important that we don't ignore these character traits that we see in our children, because many times what we see as strong character traits right now, they will not grow out of And the more we put the work as they are young, and we can control the way that they're seeing the world, and we can show them different perspectives, we can open up to them different realities, the more they will able to weaken those traits and not grow up to be stubborn people, or people who are selfish, or people who are overconfident that they are arrogant, or people who don't see other people, but to be balanced and wise people who are confident but also modest, who know how to set boundaries but also take people under consideration, who know how to be active but also know how to rest when they need to. So instilling in our children that sense of different perspective than they see in their life is something that will build their character for the long run. And from that building of character, their behavior will follow. From adopting a wider, more grounded perspective on reality, their emotions will follow, and they will be much more healthy emotionally and mentally. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you want to check out another video where I talk about children's mental health and what is actually the root cause of anxiety and depression in our society, you can check out the video in the link over here.